Let's get more on that appearance from the US President Donald Trump at the Davos Economic Forum and bring in our North America correspondent Barbara Miller in Washington. Barbara, good morning. So what was the President's message to world business leaders?
Well, he took some time at the beginning of the address to essentially complain about the previous administration in quite strong terms. He called them inept, and then he went on to sort of run through some of the executive actions he's taken so far since being sworn in earlier this week, including declaring that national emergency on the southern border. Then in terms of economics, he complained about the EU, about regulation that the EU has. We have some very big complaints with the EU, he said. He again talked about his feeling that other countries don't spend enough. NATO countries need to put in more of their GDP on defence spending. He wants them to up what they spend to 5%. He said he wants the price of oil to come down. He says he wants Saudi Arabia to invest in the US. So really a sort of smorgasbord of issues there addressed by President Trump in a very short time. And then this announcement where he's threatening, without detailing exactly how that might work, to impose, it seemed to be suggesting he would impose tariffs on individual companies if they didn't invest in the US. Let's just hear a little bit of that.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
Barbara, what else did he have to say? He talked about the war in Ukraine. What details did he give about that?
That's right. And of course, he said before becoming president that he would solve the war in Ukraine in a day. Now, clearly, he hasn't done that. I don't suppose anyone truly expected that. He again said that had he been president, there would never have been a war. And his line seems to be, we heard this from him earlier in the week, that he thinks that Kyiv, that Ukraine and President Volodymyr Zelensky, they are ready to strike a deal, he says, and it's now up to Russia, essentially, to come to the table. Now, this is following a statement yesterday that if Russia didn't come to the table, that he might impose further sanctions. He also talked about China's possible role in bringing about an end to the war in Ukraine. He thought they could play a key role. And we've also heard from Russia, that was ahead of the address by President Trump. They say that they're ready and willing for what they called mutually respectful dialogue on the issue. Now, I think that wording is very much a response to Donald Trump threatening further sanctions. So no end to the war in Ukraine in sight, but certainly given that very strong promise he was making on the campaign trail, certainly an issue that Donald Trump keeps returning to, and we'll have to see whether he does manage to bring both sides perhaps to the negotiating table during these first days or weeks of his second term.